Henry Box Brown, the man who mailed himself to freedom. Early life. Henry Brown was born enslaved in 1815 on a plantation in Louisa County, Virginia. From a young age, he was known to be clever, polite, and hardworking. His enslaver hired him out to work in a tobacco factory in Richmond, where Henry earned wages. But like most enslaved people, the majority of that money went to his enslaver. Despite the brutality of slavery, Henry found small moments of normalcy. He met and married another enslaved person named Nancy, who lived on a nearby plantation. Together, they had 3 children. Henry's love for his family was the center of his world. But under slavery, families were never safe. The tragedy that changed everything. In 1848, without warning, Henry's wife and children were sold to a different enslaver and shipped away to North Carolina. He begged to buy them back, but was told no. When he saw them taken away, he described his grief as, "Felt the iron enter into my soul." That loss hardened his resolve. Henry decided that if his family could be taken from him at any moment, he would no longer live in fun. He began to plot his escape, and what he came up with was so bold, so original, that no one had ever tried it before. The plan Brown had an acquaintance, a white shoemaker named Samuel Smith, who was sympathetic to the abolitionist cause. Henry approached him and explained his idea. He wanted to ship himself in a box from Virginia, a slave state, to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, a free state. Smith agreed to help, and the two worked out the details with assistance from James C. A. Smith, a free black man and member of the Philadelphia Anti-Slavery Society. They constructed a wooden crate, roughly 3 feet long, 2 feet wide, 2.5 feet deep. On the outside, it was marked, open quote, "This side up with care, dry goods," close quote. But inside was Henry Brown, a living man about to risk his life for freedom. The journey. March 23rd, 1849. At 8 a.m., Henry climbed into the box. He took with him a small jug of water, a few biscuits, a gimlet, a small tool to bore air holes in case he ran out of oxygen. Once sealed inside, he was loaded onto a wagon, then onto a train, and later onto a steamboat. His route carried him over 27 hours through multiple states. During the journey, the box was handled roughly, sometimes turned upside down for hours. Henry later said his eyes felt like they were bursting from their sockets, and he nearly suffocated several times. He could hear people talking and laughing as they unknowingly stood inches from him. Incredibly, he kept silent the entire time, praying and singing hymns quietly to himself. One of his favorites was, open quote, "I waited patiently for the Lord, and he inclined unto me and heard my cry," close quote. The moment of freedom. After 27 agonizing hours, the box arrived at the anti-slavery office in Philadelphia on March 24th, 1849. Inside were members of the Pennsylvania Anti-Slavery Society, including the abolitionist James Miller McKim. They carefully pried open the lid. Henry slowly rose from the cramped darkness, dripping with sweat, pale but alive. His first words were, open quote, "How do you do, gentlemen?" Close quote. "I have come out of great tribulation, and my soul is at rest in the land of the free." Close quote. The aftermath news of his escape spread across the country like wildfire. He became known as Henry Box Brown. But his fame also made him a target. Slave catchers were furious, and the Fugitive Slave Act, which allowed the capture of escaped slaves even in free states, was still in effect. To stay safe, Henry eventually fled to England in 1850. There, he became a lecturer, actor, and magician, using a replica of the box in his stage performances to educate audiences about slavery and the miracle of his escape. He lived in Britain for over 25 years, married again, and even had children there. In his later years, he returned to the United States, still performing and sharing his story until his death, sometime after 1889. Symbolism and legacy. Henry Box Brown's escape was not just physical, it was spiritual. He turned the very tools of commerce and oppression, a shipping box, freight routes, and postal systems, into his instruments of liberation. His story became a metaphor for transformation and self-delivery. A man literally packaged his own freedom in a world that denied his humanity. Today, Henry Brown is remembered as a symbol of Black ingenuity and resistance, a man of faith and perseverance, a living example that freedom sometimes begins with imagination. Hey everyone, if you love hidden Black history stories, you have to subscribe to Black History Stories 13, the channel where we uncover shocking truths they never taught in school. But that's not all. Check out Politics Global 1 and don't miss Alcabulin Reset 101 that will make you think differently. Hit subscribe on all 3 channels. Turn on the bell and join the community that's uncovering history, sharing knowledge, and changing the conversation. Don't wait. Subscribe now.